Cote, and I'm here with Friends Health Connection, a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping those with autoimmune diseases and chronic illnesses lead healthy lifestyles. And what we really strive to do is support those individuals as well as help educate them and inspire them to lead healthy and meaningful lives. So today I'm here with Alexa Chronister. Hi, Alexa. And she started the nonprofit organization titled Fight Like a Warrior, as well as Cards for Warriors. So Alexa, for those who are tuning in, just in case they don't know anything about your organization, could you just introduce yourself, give us a little bit of information on your organization, as well as your own story?
Yeah, sure. So I am a junior currently at the University of Delaware. I'm majoring in public policy and I have minors in social entrepreneurship and philosophy. And I started Cards for Warriors, which is now Fight Like a Warrior, my freshman year after being diagnosed with Ehlers Danlos syndrome and Postural Orthostatic Tachycardia syndrome. And currently now I serve as our president and work with our amazing team to develop new programs and continue to improve our programs. So our organization really works with mainly those facing chronic illnesses as well as things like cancer and mental health conditions. And we provide a supportive, encouraging environment for people to interact and spread hope. We offer a community blog. Our main program is obviously Cards for Warriors. That's kind of how the whole thing began. And our Cards for Warriors program is close to sending almost, I think, 700 cards around the world, which is awesome. We also have a Warrior of the Month program where we honor a warrior every single month for their strength. We have a community blog where people share their stories and their experiences and their insights. And we also have a Brave and Beautiful program, which is mostly focused on mental health content.
Wow, that's amazing. So I know you kind of mentioned the illnesses that you're surviving yourself, but so other than that, what else kind of helped inspire you to start Fight Like a Warrior?
I think that I was really inspired after kind of wanting to find my own meaning within my circumstances and my diagnoses. And I also turned to online platforms and social media to find support after my diagnoses. And my eyes were open to this world of other people that were suffering with similar things or facing similar challenges. And I realized that I really wasn't alone. And there was this whole group of people out there that were going through similar things. So I kind of wanted to create something to bring these people together and really create a community within that of encouragement.
That's amazing. That's really great of you, especially you're only 20 years old and you've already accomplished so much in your life and you've already inspired so many people. But also just a little bit more about your organization. So what exactly, is there a specific kind of message that you're going for with these organizations? Or is it really just to help and inspire other people who are surviving a chronic illness?
It's of course to do that, but I think our main message is really that sick fights back, and that a diagnosis doesn't have to stop you from continuing to live your life. We want people to do more than survive. We want them to continue to live their life, to pursue their dreams, to do what they love. So we really work to provide that space and perpetuate that message.
That's great. And then, so like I said before, you've accomplished so much at such a young age. So was there anyone or anything that's inspired you to make such a positive difference in the world?
I don't think that I can point to one specific person or thing, but I definitely think my upbringing in general has had a big impact on who I am and my desire to give back to others. my parents instilled that value in me growing up, and I feel like they were amazing role models, and that's still a value in my family today, whether that's through volunteering or through donations or giving our time. And I also attended a overnight summer camp for a decade, 10 years, which is crazy, but that experience really had a big impact on me. And we always talked about the concept of working to repair the world. And I feel like I had amazing role models there that inspired me, and seeing them do amazing things inspired me to want to give back as well.
That's great. What kind of camp was it?
It's called URJ Camp Harlem. It's through the Union of Reform Judaism. Yeah.
Oh, that's really nice. So during my research of your organization, what you've been doing, I've noticed that a lot of the women you feature on your platforms are young women. And so I know you're a young woman yourself. So I'm wondering, what challenges do you think a lot of young women face when they're dealing with an autoimmune disease or chronic illness when it comes to doctors, friends, families, even strangers' reactions and comments when they're told about this illness that a woman is struggling through?
Yeah, I definitely think that women have a unique experience and face some unique challenges. Women are more likely to experience chronic pain, but they're also more likely to have reports of chronic pain dismissed. A lot of people report medical professionals telling them, and even friends and family in their community, saying it's anxiety, your physical symptoms are really all in your head, which really creates a lot of barriers to receiving a proper diagnosis and proper treatment and care, which is incredibly unfortunate. I have had a similar experience with that. I don't think that it's incredibly rare, but it delayed like my personal time to receive a diagnosis and receive the care that has brought my health to where it is today instead of where I started from. And I also think in general, anyone, no matter who they are with a chronic illness, no matter their background, faces challenges due to just a general lack of awareness, whether that's within the medical community, having to explain your condition to your medical professional, your doctor, your nurse, or your family. And it's hard because a lot of, or many chronic illnesses are at sometimes or always invisible illnesses. So you can't always physically see that a person's sick. And I think that's really hard for family and friends and communities to grasp, because they have this image in their mind of what they think a sick person should look like. And when someone doesn't fit that, it's hard to understand how this person could be suffering or is okay one day and not okay the next. And I think that's also really true for women as well.
Yeah, I know, especially with my own experience, something about invisible illnesses is always people expecting a sick person to look a certain way. And when you don't fit that stereotype or that kind of look, people tend to question how truthful you're being about an illness, when in reality, why would someone do something like that? I mean, I'm sure it does happen, but still it's a very sad reality that a lot of people with chronic illness face.
Yeah, for sure.
So just to get a little bit more about your story as well. So around what age were you diagnosed with Ehlers Danlos syndrome as well as POTS, and what was that experience like for you?
So Ehlers Danlos syndrome has a really long diagnosis time. So a lot of people wait a really long time to receive a proper diagnosis. So growing up, I, of course, had a lot of symptoms and I was being treated under a hypermobility syndrome sort of diagnosis, which is often what people receive before they receive an Ehlers-Danlos syndrome diagnosis. So my symptoms really started to intensify during my senior year of high school. And that's when we decided to seek further answers. And subsequently after that, I was diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. But that was also a long road before I got there. I had to advocate a lot for myself and the symptoms that I was experiencing to my doctors, especially being a young woman and kind of being dismissed because it was anxiety, or they see this a lot in young students, or, you know, whatever the reason. But eventually I got a diagnosis and got a proper treatment plan. And my POTS diagnosis actually came before my Ehlers-Danlos syndrome diagnosis, which is interesting, but also not that uncommon. And I kind of just, a lot of it came from my family just really being awesome and doing so much research and advocating a lot for me to see the right doctors and get the right treatments.
Makes sense. And that's really great. And also, so as a young woman surviving these illnesses, how do you think women with health challenges are able to rise above these negative stigmas that are surrounding illness?
I definitely think it can be incredibly hard, which is unfortunate. I think we need to do a better job as a society of destigmatizing these illnesses. I think about 1 in 3 people face some form of chronic illness. So it's not something that is super rare. I think campaigns like Aries Real campaign, I don't know if you're familiar with it, that features a lot of different types of models with all different types of body types and wheelchairs and walkers and canes and scars. I think campaigns like those should be really celebrated and a lot more common. We try to do that through Fight Like a Warrior by showcasing a bunch of different types of people and their stories. Being able to see someone that looks like you and have that sort of role model, I think, is really important to feeling comfortable in yourself and pushing the stigmas aside, and having that close support group of people, which we try to provide through our organization, I think is really important to being able to push past the stigmas and feel confident and strong with yourself.
Mm-hmm. And do you have any kind of tips or tricks, even rituals that you use in your everyday life to kind of help you distress or stay positive, alleviate pain, anything like that?
For me, a really big thing that I found through my chronic illness journey, I guess, is gratitude, which sounds super like straightforward and kind of lame, but I really found the power of gratitude and just I use a gratitude journal and just trying to find those small successes and just the small things in every day that you can be grateful for, whether they're big or small. I think that's really important, especially when you're in a period where your life is kind of changing and a lot of things are unexpected and not what you're used to them being. And I also think positive affirmations are awesome while still recognizing your situation and your circumstances and not dismissing it and kind of being toxically positive, but understanding that your situation has changed, but that you can do it and that you'll get through it. And I also try and practice yoga if I can, or exercise as much as I can. It can be super hard, especially in the beginning when you're trying to figure out how to live with the chronic illness, and even living with a chronic illness, not everyone has the ability to exercise to alleviate pain, but it's definitely something that has helped me kind of clear my head, stay positive, and decrease my pain.
Oh, that's great. I really love the gratitude journal, especially like you mentioned, like not everyone is able to exercise. They don't have the gift of mobility with a chronic illness at times. So was that gratitude journal something that you came up with yourself, or did you read about it, that it helped other people like you, or how did you come across this idea?
My grandma actually gifted it to me, I think probably years before anything chronic illness related really came into my life. So I guess I kind of found gratitude in myself through that journey and kind of picked that up and used it as a tool when it presented itself.
Okay, and then, so do you have a favorite kind of inspirational quote or saying that you like to tell yourself or others when you're going through a difficult period of time?
Yeah, so one of my favorite quotes is, I can be changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it. And mostly attributed to Maya Angelou, but there's some debate about that, but I'm gonna give her the credit. I think it's an awesome quote and something that I've kind of talked about throughout this conversation, about the importance of kind of recognizing that your situation has changed, there's a challenge, it's completely natural, but refusing to kind of be knocked down by it and continuing to live your life and achieve what you want to, work towards your dreams. Yeah.
I love that quote, especially Maya Angelou. She's great.
Yeah.
So something I want to come back to is your Cards for Warriors. So is there kind of like a process on how you choose people? Do people just, I guess, email you when they want cards? Like, how do you choose the sayings? What's within the cards? Things like that. Kind of give us a little insight into your process.
Yeah, so our Cards for Warriors program, initially the volunteers were kind of just people that I found that would be interested in participating in something like this. But now you can reach out to our program and express your interest and sort of apply. And we try to accommodate as many volunteers as we can. We really, I mean, personally, I think it's really important for people to be able to, our volunteers to be able to express what they want to in the cards and kind of have creative expression. So no card is really the same as the next, but they're all really focused on remaining positive and being encouraging to all different types of people. So every card is applicable to hopefully everyone, and anyone can apply for a card also through our website under our Cards for Warriors tab.
And then how did you come into contact with the volunteers that you have? Did you know any of them personally, or did they somehow contact you finding out about your nonprofit? So how did they come into contact with you and were able to help you build upon this great nonprofit organization?
So like I said, kind of originally, I was kind of just like, you know, who would be interested in this? Like, who would want to do this with me? And I reached out to a lot of people through those online platforms and social media that I mentioned before that I found before I even started Cards for Warriors and Fight Like a Warrior. So a lot of the initial volunteers came from there. And now there's kind of just a general awareness about it that we have a lot of people that are looking to volunteer and help us out, which is awesome. We love having all different types of people involved, and our team is international with people from outside of the United States and across the United States, which is awesome. When we have more general positions for our team, a lot of times people just will put out an announcement and people will apply for them.
That's great. And so just in case any of the viewers out there didn't get it in the beginning, could you just give us like your website and also any of your social media handles on where our viewers can find your organization so they could either volunteer or receive a card?
Yeah, so you can find us. Our website is fightlikeawarrior.org. Our main form of social media is Instagram. Our Instagram handle is @fightlikeawarrior. We're also on Facebook as Fight Like a Warrior Project, and we also have a YouTube channel, and our channel name is Fight Like a Warrior.
Okay, great. And Alexa, thank you so much for coming in today and doing this interview with us. And it was so great to get your message out there and just kind of give it more exposure, because what you're doing is so amazing.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
And I'll be sure to include all of the links down below as well in the video title. So if anyone out there is looking to volunteer or receive a card, they can find you down below.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alexa. It was nice meeting you.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.